I'm Veronica.
Standing outside the bridal suite, I heard my sister Lily say to my mother, "That stupid Veronica thinks she's a savior. Paying for my dress is the only good thing she's ever done. Her money is my money. Her stuff is my stuff."
My mother just laughed.
I glanced down at my banking app. There was nothing left. I didn't utter a word. I put the heavy steamer on the floor and walked away. My mind as a risk auditor had already made the decision. The wedding was about to start in half an hour, but I wasn't going to be there. I was going to take back what was mine. Let me tell you how I got to this point. I'm a risk auditor, and my life has always been about calculating risks and minimizing losses. I've lived frugally for years, saving every extra cent. I had a dream of getting rid of the chronic pain that had been torturing me for 3 years. After 5 long years of saving, I finally had enough money, $60,000, to pay for the surgery. I was sitting in the doctor's office in downtown Boston, holding the surgery schedule, feeling like I could finally breathe freely again. Then my father, Henry, called. He was in a complete panic, sobbing and hyperventilating. He said he was in serious legal trouble because of a bad business deal. He claimed that if he didn't come up with $60,000 by the end of the week, he'd end up in federal prison. He begged me, using his role as a helpless father who had done his best. My rational auditor mind told me something was off, but my heart, as a daughter, took over. I convinced myself that money could be earned back, but a father couldn't be replaced. With a trembling hand, I transferred all the money in my health fund to his account and canceled my surgery. 2 days later, I went to my parents' house to check on him. The house was empty. On the kitchen counter, under a pile of junk mail, I found a receipt. It was a non-refundable deposit for Lily's dream wedding at a luxury mountain resort. The amount was exactly $60,000, and the time on the receipt was just an hour after I'd transferred the money. At that moment, I realized I'd been used. I wasn't a family member to them. I was just an ATM. The situation didn't stop there. Lily started treating my apartment as her personal store. She'd take my clothes and high-end skincare products without asking. When I confronted her about a missing $300 serum, she just rolled her eyes and said, "Relax, Veronica. We're sisters. Besides, you just work all day. Who are you trying to impress?"
It was so infuriating.
It wasn't just about the things. It was the fact that she didn't respect me at all. Then one Sunday, Henry and my mother, Grace, came to my place. Instead of asking how I was dealing with the pain without the surgery, they pushed a catering contract in front of me. Henry said, "The caterer is being difficult with our credit check. You just need to co-sign as a guarantee. It's just a formality. We're a family, right? We help each other." But I knew it wasn't a formality. If they didn't pay, I'd be on the hook for another $15,000, and I was sure they wouldn't pay. The final straw was when I saw the seating chart for the wedding reception. I was placed at table 20, in the far corner near the kitchen and the sound equipment. I was sitting with the wedding photographer's assistants and off-duty staff. I wasn't even listed as the sister of the bride. I was hidden away at a party I'd funded. That was when I decided to stop being the naive daughter and become the auditor. I told Henry I'd handle all the vendor contracts. He was relieved, thinking he'd won again. But I had a plan. The next day, I went to my parents' house with a stack of documents. Henry was pacing around, stressed because his credit card had been declined by the caterer. I told him I'd fixed it, that I'd co-sign everything so the wedding could go on. But there was a condition. I said I needed to secure my position since I was putting my credit on the line for $50,000 of catering. I brought a notary, a guy named Tom. In the stack of papers, there was a deed in lieu of foreclosure on page 43, attached to a commercial security agreement. I was lending him the $60,000 retroactively as a secured loan, along with the catering guarantee, and the collateral was the house. If he missed the payment deadline, which was yesterday, the title would transfer to me immediately. Henry signed without really reading, thinking it was just standard paperwork. As for Lily, one evening when she came to my apartment complaining about her hair, I knew she'd go for the limited edition hair mask on my counter. I'd replace the expensive product with a mixture of cheap conditioner and a high-concentration UV reactive compound. She took it without hesitation, thinking she needed it more than me. On the wedding day, I arrived early at the mountain resort. I went to the manager's office to confirm the wire transfer for the rush fee. I'd paid the resort directly when Henry's card was declined for the final payment. I was listed as the primary account holder, and the contract stated that if the balance wasn't settled by the reception start time, the services would be immediately liquidated. I found Lily in the garden, looking beautiful in her expensive dress. But I was focused on her hair. When she saw me, she made a snide comment about my dress. Later, Henry cornered me near the bar, asking me to cover the open bar hold because his credit card had been flagged for fraud. I just smiled and said I'd taken care of it. I slipped into the AV booth, lied about testing the neon rave lighting, and the technician turned on the UV lights. When the music started and the ballroom went black, followed by the explosion of UV lights, Lily's hair glowed neon green and orange. The chemical in her hair reacted violently, staining her neck and dress. Everyone gasped, then burst into laughter. When Henry threatened lawsuits, the manager told him I was the client. At my order, the staff shut down the event and repossessed everything. Henry told me to get out of his house, but I put the deed he'd signed on the table. His loan had matured, and the title had transferred to me that morning. He had 24 hours to leave. Outside, my grandmother, Rose, was waiting in the car. "Did it work?"
she asked.
"Liquidation complete," I replied. Lily tried to spin the story, but the security footage proved she'd stolen the hair mask. #GlowingThiefBride trended for days. My parents were evicted, and I sold the house to a developer. I finally paid for my surgery and started my own auditing firm, specializing in helping victims of financial abuse. My family thought I was their safety net, but they learned that sometimes the asset gets liquidated.